Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a skill that is, no joke, one of the most important ones you can have in today's world: critical thinking. See, in an age where we're just flooded with information, the real superpower isn't knowing a bunch of stuff. It's knowing how to question it, how to analyze it, and how to make a truly wise decision. So, let's dive in.
So, let me just ask you this straight up. When you're scrolling through your phone or reading headlines, how do you actually separate what's real from what just feels real? It's a huge challenge, right? Well, that's exactly what we're going to tackle today, giving you the tools to face that challenge head-on. And that question, telling fact from fiction, it's gotten so much harder recently. And it's because of the sheer scale of the problem. We are living in an era of complete information overload. And frankly, it's creating a real challenge for our brains. I mean, let's be honest, the world is just noisy, right? We're constantly hit with headlines, opinions, data, hot takes, you name it. It can feel totally overwhelming, and it makes it so hard to find that one clear, reliable signal in all of that static. This isn't just in your head. It's the reality we're all trying to navigate every single day.
So how in the world do we cut through all that noise? Well, the solution isn't to try and absorb more information. Nope, it's about changing how we process it. It's about putting on a new hat, adopting a new mindset. You've got to start thinking like a detective.
And at its core, this is what critical thinking really is. It's not some vague idea, it's a very real process. It's the ability to just pause, look at a piece of information, really evaluate it, and only then make a logical call. It's an active, deliberate skill you can build.
And I love this analogy because it perfectly captures the mindset. You know, a detective doesn't just show up at a crime scene and believe the first story they hear. Of course not. They gather all the clues, they test every single one, they look for holes in the story, and they follow the hard evidence to find out what actually happened. That is the exact approach we want to take.
And this is so important. We have to train ourselves to look past the shiny surface. Something can be presented in a super convincing way, delivered with all the confidence in the world. We're designed to pull at your heartstrings. But guess what? None of that actually makes it true. A good detective knows the most convincing suspect isn't always the guilty one.
Because that's the endgame. That's the whole point. The entire purpose of this detective mindset is a deep commitment to what is actually provably true. It's all about building your view of the world on a solid foundation of facts, not on the shifting sands of somebody else's opinion or your own feelings.
Okay, so if we want to get really good at this detective mindset, it's just as important to know what to avoid doing. Let's take a look at some of the most common traps that people fall into, even when they're trying their best.
This chart really lays it out perfectly. See, critical thinking is not about just being negative or cynical about everything. It's about thoughtful analysis. It's not about just going with your gut. It's about using actual evidence. It's not about jumping to a conclusion, but about asking good questions to get the full story. And this last one is huge. It's about knowing the difference between a verifiable fact and someone's personal opinion. All right, so we know the mindset and we know the traps to avoid. Now for the really practical part, your daily toolkit. These are 5 simple, totally doable habits you can start building literally today to make your thinking sharper. This toolkit is your foundation. It all starts with step 1. Just pause. Before you react or share, just take a breath. Step 2 is to dig deeper by asking why a few times. Then, step 3, you gotta break out of your bubble and seek other viewpoints. Step 4 is key. Always ground your thinking in evidence, not just how you feel. And finally, step 5, take a little time each day to reflect on your own thinking. You practice these 5 things together, and you are well on your way. Now, building these habits isn't just some abstract mental exercise. When you start applying these tools, they have a huge real-world impact on your life, on your career, on everything. So let's talk about the payoff.
So, why does all this matter? Well, because thinking this way helps you avoid really costly mistakes, both at home and at work. It empowers you to consistently make better, smarter decisions. And, over time, that builds a reputation. You become the person who is known for being thoughtful, for being reliable, someone people can trust because they know your opinions are built on something solid.
So I'll leave you with a little challenge. Using the tools we just talked about, what is one decision, big or small, that you'll approach just a little differently today? Because the journey to becoming a master critical thinker, well, it starts with that one single question. Thanks for watching.